Hello everyone. Trying to kind of get a thumbnail going here. You can see that. This is the project that we are going to be making today. I have a few samples to show you, but I thought I would show this first. So let me just leave that up there for a moment. Just checking to make sure that I'm live. Here's my microphone. I hope you can hear me. Okay, I'm live. So, yes, welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. This is Stamping with Hart. Today's live video is actually going to be a series of thinking of you cards that I created using the Rustic Retreat stamp set. This is going to be kind of hard to see with the light, but I'll show it when it's down on the table. Definitely haven't gotten that right yet. $1 Million Achiever, I think, designed this set. Her name is Mary Polson, and I'm very grateful to her because this is one of my favorite sets that I have bought so far. So I was actually designing Christmas cards. You guys know that I've been really going crazy with the Halloween projects, but today I wanted to switch gears a little bit. There's been some things happening with friends and family that frankly I was not prepared for when it comes to thinking of you and sympathy. And since I was designing the Christmas cards with the Rustic Retreat set, I thought, why don't I switch gears and make it a masculine theme thinking of you card, since all of the elements are actually right in that stamp set. But you could use it, of course, for more than one occasion. So I did want to share that with you today. I hope that you enjoy the cards. This is going to be a tutorial. Hi, Kathy. Oh my gosh, you're actually watching. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm very excited. People are actually live with me. I'm a little bit earlier than I usually am, so I appreciate you being here. All right, let me go ahead and get to the project. Okay. So it looks like we are upside down. I am going to get this right at some point, but for now, let me just show you the projects and hopefully you can see this okay. This is a card that actually uses two stamp sets, the Rustic Retreat, and also I added the truck from Ride With Me. And this is the card that we're going to be making live today. But if you only want to work with one stamp set, I also wanted to show you, you could easily do that with Rustic Retreat. So I do have some other elements here that I'll go over that this card came together with. But you could design this, in whatever way works for your needs. And then we also have this version here too. So this is the one that is the closest to Christmas, I would say. But again, all of these elements are actually, at least the stamped images, are from Rustic Retreat. So I'll show you the papers and everything that I used with it. As you know, our holiday catalog came out and there was a set of papers in there, designer series paper, our Plaid papers. And I love these. These are 6x6. They're double-sided. You could actually get them in a suite of products if you're looking for a bunch of goodies that are already paired together and designed for you, or you could just get the papers. I ordered extra paper actually, but these are double-sided. You have all of these different choices that you can use. The pieces that I actually put together today are with the blue, the red, and the green theme, and of course match back to the cabin. So I wanted to talk also about tools just for a minute. So here is the stamp set that I am referring to. We're going to be using the cabin image, the thinking of you image, and then I'm going to be adding in the truck. So if you're curious what the ride with me is, it's this one right here, and we're going to be using the truck image, and I'm actually going to put the sentiment, the thinking of you sentiment, right into the back of the truck. Okay, so I wanted to talk just for a minute about, let me see if you guys, which way this needs to go. Okay. I just wanted to talk for just a minute about something that we have called the Stamparatus. I know that I am relatively new to this, so a lot of people who are watching may not be familiar with, and then of course if you're in our Stampin' Up! Family, then you're very familiar with the Stamparatus. But this is a tool that you can use if you're going to be doing many stamps at one time. I'm going to be producing a lot of cards with Rustic Retreat, so I've just been stamping 7x7 pieces of Whisper White with the images that I want, that I'm going to be using in repeat, and then coloring those images in. But you could also use this for background stamps and all of that lovely stuff. Today, I'm just going to ink up my cabin right here. I'm going to use the Memento black ink because we're going to be coloring with alcohol markers. So I'm just going to ink up just this one image. There's a little pad right here, but if you need your measuring tool, I like this because it gives extra cushion whenever you're stamping. And then if you're stamping over and over again, or if you're stamping a larger image, they actually have magnets that will hold your paper in place, which is great. But this is a good stamp set that you don't have to worry about stamping multiple times. It's not a gigantic image. So just for the sake of today, let me just see if that will fit. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp the cabin here. Okay, and then we're just going to color this in. So I'm going to be using our Stampin' Blend markers to color this. I'm going to be using light and dark crumb cake for the cabin. So let me see. I'll do this way so that you can see. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to do the light first, and this will be for the house. I'm going to use actually the wider tip side since this is going to be the bulk of the house. But the colors that we're going to be using today on our cabin are crumb cake. The roof is actually going to be Night of Navy. Our trees are going to be Call Me Clover. And inside the windows will be Pineapple Punch, just for a little bit of that inside window glow. And then our rock chimney and the smoke coming from the chimney will be Gray Granite. Okay. And I just do the most basic coloring basically that you can do with the Stampin' Blends in the light and the dark. So you can buy Stampin' Blends individually or as a combo pack with the light and the dark together. I just go wherever the artist has basically made shadow and also add shadow there. So just like in the crease here right under the roof. It's kind of hard to see this upside down, but not too much. You can go back over it with the light. Just to soften it or blend it out. Okay. For the roof, we're gonna do light night of navy everywhere, and then the same thing, we'll just go into the shadows with the darker. Okay. It's one of those things where you have to get used to talking while you're coloring. It's a little bit strange, but the Stampin' blends, if I haven't already set it on a live, a little bit goes a long way with these. The darker the color, the lighter the touch whenever you're coloring with this. Okay, let me just see. I'm also trying to keep my hands out of the way while I'm coloring, so I hope that you guys can see that. I hope that's not too far away. I'll have to get used to what'll be a good distance when I'm coloring live. Okay. And now I'm going to take my darker blue and I'm going to go into those darker areas. So the underside of the roof here, the underside of the roof right here. I'll just do the top part. And then we'll take the light the rest of the way down. Okay. I'm also going to do gray granite around the window frames. I'm going to start with light. And just go over the entire rock chimney. Now, my gray granite, I have used this so much with recent projects, so my tip is starting to get a little bit worn, but it's still okay. And I'm going to take the nib side, the more concentrated, to do these very tiny window frames. And this is a light color, so even if you mess up, it's okay. No one's really gonna see it. Okay, we're gonna do the inside, the window light. You could just do the light pineapple punch for this. You don't have to add in the dark. It just depends on how intense you want the glow to be from the window. Maybe if you're doing, you know, a background, a night scene, that would be nice. I'm just going to go in and color this little part of the cabin. I forgot to do that. All right, and now let's do our trees. So I'm going to take the light Call Me Clover. These are all Stampin' blends, all alcohol markers. And just go over the trees. I'm going to do light pretty much for the whole tree, and then I'll do just a little bit of shading with the darker Call Me Clover. The dark Call Me Clover is really dark, beautiful, like emerald looking green. And you could actually do your whole forest with the dark Call Me Clover too, but I like the brightness of the lights. Okay, and here is the dark Call Me Clover. I'm just going to take this, I can do a little bit more of like a wispy motion with the longer tip here, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding in a few lines. The artwork on this set is so beautiful, and this is nice because this can work for masculine cards, feminine cards, everyday cards, care and concern, the category that I'm in today. or also holiday Christmas cards. Just really nice to have those options. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my light, Call Me Clover, and I'm just going to blend in a little bit where we did the low light on the insides of the trees. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and so that's our image. One of the things that I also wanted to talk about was we have something called the Heirloom frame embossing folder and dies, and that's what I used this. This color is actually the Poppy Parade. That's, I believe, one of our Brights from the Brights collection. This is the cardstock. And I actually did, cut and emboss this in the oval. You could just do the cut of the oval and just have it nice and smooth where there's no embossed detail here. And that might be good for a more masculine card, I believe, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. The black oval here does not have the emboss, it's just flat. So either way, it can work out nicely. But I really love the detailing of this, so I kept it. On this version of the card, I actually did the rectangle. There's an oval and a rectangle. And then for this card that we're making now, I'm gonna do the oval. So basically what I was doing, nothing too precise. I'm just gonna take my Snail. If you want a stronger adhesive, for the sake of the live, I'm gonna use my Snail, but if you want a stronger adhesive, you of course could use the tear and tape or the multi-purpose glue. I just kind of was going right onto the paper and then just trimming around it. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to trim around and get the white off of here. Now when you're doing these in bulk, of course, you can either have them pre-cut, or if you're doing all of the images like I am, just work on it in sections. Okay, and then we're going to assemble our card. So just for the sake of time, I actually did some of these pieces in advance, but this is the truck from Ride With Me, and the colors of the truck are the Night of Navy, gray granite for the hubcaps and the fender, and then basic black for the wheels. Mostly light in all of the colors, and then just touches of the darker of each shade to give it some highlighting. And then I just fussy cut it out, meaning I just trimmed it literally out with my scissors. And then the Thinking of You, same thing. So this is actually crumb cake. Hopefully that is showing. Here we go. So that's just crumb cake, light and dark, light all over, and then the dark really on the edges, and then just kind of streaked through to kind of, follow the lines of the wood. And then I'll give you the dimensions of the card. So again, just for the sake of time, I've already cut these pieces, but this is crumb cake cardstock. I actually ended up cutting it 9 inches in length and then 5.5 in the width, and then I scored it at 4.5. So I'm just going to fold that down. And then the layering pieces for this are each just a 1/4 inch smaller. So the card base is 5.5. The little snowflake sort of design here, the white and blue paper, that has been actually cut at 5.25 by 4.25. And then the inner plaid piece, I really like this piece because it picked up the red, the blue, the green. There's just a touch of gold. It's not too much, especially in the case of a Thinking of You card, but thinking of you card. But at least with this plaid piece, it's going to be 4 by 5. And we're just going to adhere all of this together and then put our decorative pieces on top. And then with my original card, I actually popped up the truck and the sentiment with dimensionals, and I'll use those again tonight, and I'll show you that. So let me just put this together. And this is the other side. It's like, it's so beautiful, you don't even want to cover it up, but I would definitely, if you love plaid, especially for the holidays, I'm going to be using this like crazy. Go for it, you know, get as many sets as you. I bought 2. I probably should have bought more than that. Okay, so I'm just lining this up. I'm just eyeballing it. It might be a little crooked because I'm upside down, but it's okay. And look at this side. I mean, there is not a bad piece of paper in here. Every single pattern is absolutely fabulous. And so just to clarify what I've been doing with the products, this is actually a combination of annual catalog product, the 2019-2020 annual catalog, and some holiday product. So the layering pieces of paper here, the plaid and the snowflake design, are from the holiday catalog, but the heirloom frame, embossing folders and dies, and rustic, retreat, and all the Stampin' blends are actually from the annual catalog, as is Ride With Me. I had actually designed some sets back in the summer when I had made my annual catalog purchase. Let me see if I'm on screen here. And this is just a play on those, and I'll show you what the original design was in just a minute, but my card's going to be opening this way. So because I'm going to have a truck down here in the corner, I'm actually going to bring this up kind of towards the edge, but you could do it centered too if you want. We do have some extra room there, so same thing, just eyeballing. Okay, and then for my truck and my sentiment, I am going to, first I'm going to adhere my thinking of you to the truck. So let me just show you. This is what the back looks like. You can see the ink come through the paper a little bit. This is Whisper White Thick, by the way, that I used for this, but Whisper White Regular is also good for the blends. I don't want to cover up what the sentiment says, so I'm just going to try to glue this carefully. So let me see. Just the teeniest, tiniest bit. And just going to angle it real cute like that. And then I'll put a little bit more adhesive over here. I have to get some of those grid pads to protect my surface because I get adhesive everywhere all the time. Okay, so we have that, and now we're just gonna put it onto our card. I have been moving around a lot of my craft supplies, as I'm sure you can relate to, and I cannot find my regular size dimensionals. So these are my Stampin' dimensionals, but these are the minis, which is just as good. And just enough to pop onto the card so that you guys aren't here all night. But I will show you the other papers that I use too if you want to stick around to the end. So let me just peel these off. These are double-sided, so you're just going to peel off these little backers right here. Some people use a tool to pull these off, and I just use my fingertip. Okay. All right, and then I am just going to put that right onto my card. So let me just see what looks good. I don't want to cover up, you know, all the work that I did with my house. I want to try to keep it on the low side, but so that it's still going to be within the edge of the card so that it will fit okay in a envelope. And I'm just going to pop that down. And of course you have a minute with the Stampin' dimensionals. You can kind of, you know, reposition it, but I wouldn't mess around with it too much because you don't want to rip your paper. And let me just make sure it looks okay. So there we go. There's our project. Let me see if I can bring it up closer to the screen. Okay. Oh, hi Bill. Hi Debbie. Oh my gosh. I'm just now seeing the comments. Okay. And then let me just show you. these again. So the only reason that I want to come back to these is just because I wanted to show you the difference in the colors. So with this one, I used pumpkin pie, same thing. So all of the colors otherwise are the same. The roof and the accent piece was the difference. So with the Stampin' Blends, pumpkin pie instead of Night of Navy. And then the all of these accent papers, they're all from this Plaid paper pack, which I'll have to find out the name for you. But this is what it looks like in its original form, 6x6. And this layering piece, you'll just cut down to 4x5. This is the backup layering piece, which look at these little green pine cones. I love this paper. So this is the border piece right here. And you would cut that to 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then your card base, which is also crumb cake, will be 5 1/2 by 9 and then scored at 4 1/2. And then for the really Christmas looking one, this is basic black cardstock. This is what it looks like. The layering piece here is just the Whisper White. And then this is from the Plaid paper pack. And same exact dimensions for all of them. The only difference here is that I used the deer twice. And the deer are also colored in crumb cake. And the grass is also Call Me Clover. But otherwise, all the colors are the same. The Great Granite, the Pineapple Punch. This is the darker Pineapple Punch for the window, by the way, as opposed to the lighter. And then the original design of my card, which I had done back in the summer for my boyfriend's birthday, was the whole reason that I bought Rustic Retreat was because of Patrick. And they also have in the annual catalog these word wish dies that say Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I just went crazy when I saw it because I thought, oh my gosh, I could actually get his name and put it on here. So that was what I had done. So this was back from the summer. But once you have the inspiration and the design for a card, you can do it over and over again. That was in the case of a happy birthday. And then this is our buffalo check background stamp. I'm gonna have a video up on YouTube on Tuesday that shows a lot of different ideas using the Ride With Me and the buffalo check background. So anyway, thank you so much. Before I go, let me just tell you what the name of this Plaid paper is, because I really feel like I should be telling you that. I should have flagged the page. Here we go. It's called Wrapped in Plaid. So you can actually get a whole suite, or you could just get the paper pack. So I just wanted to show that to you because there are just so many fabulous, amazing things that you could do with these papers. I'm going to be using it all throughout the holidays. If you guys are watching, or if you feel like leaving a comment, let me know, do you love Plaid? Do you like Plaid in your projects? Or are you planning on getting the Rustic Retreat stamp set, which I just think is so amazing. All right, so thank you so much. If you haven't already liked my page, I would love it if you would like the Facebook page. You could get notifications about my lives whenever I go live. Let me see if I can pull this back up. And if you're comfortable sharing the video, I would appreciate it. If you would want to share the video, you don't have to share it to a group, but if you know somebody who loves crafting or who might love these videos, or if they make their own Christmas cards, that would be great. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and have a great night.